Just make sure it's full. We'll do that.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is a meeting of the Littlestown Area Board of School Directors. This is a live in-person meeting open to the public in accordance with the Sunshine Act. By participating in this meeting, you are consenting to the recording, retention, and future viewing of this meeting. Mary, would you please call the roll?
Janelle Ressler. Here. Stephen Yerger.
Here.
Nick Lovell.
Here.
And Mary Gibbons.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have no public comment tonight, so for the first time, I'm excited to turn it over to Dr. Berryman.
Thank you. So the first thing I would like to share with you this evening is you've heard Mrs. Becker talk in her presentations to the school board that GraphCom had really worked with the Thunderbolt Foundation to redo their branding. And then throughout that process and the building process, we also were like, we really need to do our branding here at Littlestown. So graciously, GraphCom had an intern who they kind of lent to Mrs. Becker. And what we're going to scroll through and take a look at are the recommendations. She had worked with some of the building principals, the athletic director, and some other building personnel to kind of like get some recommendations to the committee here to take to the full board as far as starting our branding process. So I don't know if you've ever noticed, but our Thunderbolt and our L were not proportioned. So what the intern with GraphCom was able to do is really take the L and make it proportional. The Thunderbolt is actually now centered with the L, so just dynamically and aesthetically looks much more proportional and in line. So that would be our proposed L. It's very, very similar to what we use now. It's just very proportioned and it's a little bit better. So then the next one, with keeping with the plane that's been at ACES, we would recommend keeping the airplane. It's this one, and I think the next picture, Carrie. That's almost exclusively used at the elementary school at ACES, so we would recommend keeping that. They just cleaned up some of the airstrikes that were going through it before, some of like the background color. Keeping with the blue and the gold. Going through this building project, one thing I've learned is there are so many different variations of blue and gold, and so we really want, when we're putting our logo on stuff, that everything matches. If you want to scroll down. This did not have any changes to it. This is the Littlestown crest, so this would remain the same. This is our traditional crest. It's used on a lot of our academic documents, academic awards, that type of thing. So we would not recommend any changes to that. And then what you see here is the proportioned L, and we really narrowed it down. You wouldn't believe how long it could take because there are so many fonts out there. And if you looked at some of our communications throughout the year, there's a variety of different fonts and stuff. But we have narrowed it down as a team, as a committee, and working with GraphCom on 2 fonts that are like your printed font. So one is Graduate on the top left, if you're facing the screen, and then Alike is the one on the right, and then 2 Script or cursive, if you will. The bottom left is Lobster 2, and the one on the right then is Magnolia. So this would be, if you, Carrie, want to switch back for a second to the agenda. So if you take a look at the agendas that Carrie puts out and her communications through the district, and she's also done a nice job of starting to work with building level secretaries and admin assistants to use the same fonts. So you'll see that she has the centered L using the lobster script and then the like print font. So you'll see on a lot of the communications going out, the newsletters from district level admin assistants, counseling offices, building level principals, our communications would all fall in line within that branding. So if you guys, if this committee is, has any questions about the branding or any comments about the branding?
Are we only making comments, I guess, on the print? Like what, so is this already set in stone, like this is what we're using, or, I mean, these four, so we can, like, the top two, one of those, and then the bottom two, one of those?
Yes, so you would need 4 different ones.
Oh, you need 4 different ones?
Well,
Yeah, you can use all 4 of
all
those.
4.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So in our communications and our branding, especially when it comes to athletics, so one of the things we looked at, you see all of our athletic shirts. Well, some types of materials or design may look better with, so I'll just go with the Magnolia script.
Mhm.
If you wanted that on a logo, on a polo or something, versus maybe the lobster.
Mhm.
But lobster looks nice on a lot of our letterhead and things like that. So it would be all 4 of those fonts.
Okay.
That would be part of the branding.
Okay.
And so from this, if the board moves this forward and they're okay with the recommendation, then what would happen is Mrs. Becker would then work with the committee to put together a branding guideline for the district. And so then athletics would use that for our different apparel. We would work with our buildings to keep everything branded so that we're looking very unified, and like everything that we put out has the same blue and gold, the same logos, the same script and font.
Okay.
Can I add, when I created this document, some of the fonts, they do look a little bit skewed compared to what they actually appear to be. So best reference would probably be if you pop in Google and you can check out those fonts directly. And then also on the communications, I used all 4 of these fonts relatively close. The other 2 don't are really good.
I like Magnolia Lobster, and what was the other one?
Right.
So is the committee in favor of moving these approved official logos and fonts forward to the full board for approval? And from after that, Mrs. Becker will be able to folks to bring then come back to us to the board.
Yeah.
Thank you, and thank you to Grafton and Mrs. Becker for all their work. The next thing we have is a calendar update. So earlier this past summer, we became aware of tradition in Littlestown as far as the Memorial Day parade is always on the original Memorial Day, which is May 30th. Well, that also happens to be graduation this year. So what I would like the committee to consider is, with the amount of resources that it takes to put on a graduation and the amount of resources to hold our annual parade, police, our band, that type of thing, and with the roads being closed off to the state, I would ask the committee to recommend moving graduation and our last student day to May 29th so that our residents can go to the parade and our band can participate in the parade. That would make our last student day May 29th. Teachers would still come full day on the 30th for their 186th day of so that would be a recommendation that I would make so that we can have our Littlestown parade on Memorial Day as we always do, and then we just have our graduation ceremony and not divide resources.
Anyone opposed to that? Still move forward?
so then 4 policies for review for you to consider. We are starting to go through the 200s and 800s. We do have one that's a little out of order here, policy 101. Dr. Mitchell has been working through with the steering committee on our comprehensive plan, and part of that is taking a look at the vision, mission, and shared values. And you can see that Carrie has those up for us. So our new district vision that we are proposing through the steering committee and comprehensive planning is to build a solid foundation to prepare all students for life and career success. The new district mission would be investing in collaborative experiences that inspire and nurture personal growth. And then the Littlestown Area District shares these values as an educational institution, and that would be collaboration, perseverance, citizenship, engagement, and critical thinking. And all of this came out of, again, the steering committee, which is part of the comprehensive planning. And if you look around the room,